I'm Katrina, and this is Sow and Tare, and today we are going to be placing some trail cameras and teaching you some specifics about how these are set up. Now, what I really like about the ones I have, you can see I'm wearing it as a belt. We have 7 cameras that we may be placing. I probably won't show you guys all of them, I may be showing you setups of some of them. I'm obviously not going to show you all the cameras on my property. I have some out there already. But I want you to get an idea of how to set up a trail camera, wildlife camera, camera trap. Those are all 3 the same name for your camera. Now, these cameras you can use for a wide variety of things. You can use them for people, animals, just checking up on what the heck is going on in an area. And so today we're placing them. So right here is a road. It's just where historically the tractor has gone down to the hayfield. It's not a real road. But this is the road down to the lower part of the pasture and then to the hayfield. And I already know, I've already scouted out this area, just not necessarily scouting out, just I live here and walk around. But I've noticed deer and elk scat along this area, and I know I've been out here at night and deer have been out here. I am going to guess bear may use this area based on some knowledge that I have of where I've seen, photo evidence of. I saw a bobcat out in the pasture once. I know coyotes have been in the area previously. So this area actually has a trail, and I don't know if you can see it. I'll walk it real quick. So this trail right here that I'm on, it's a little harder to see now that the grass is growing, but this trail right here is a very well-traveled trail that the wildlife made. Now I follow it, and I follow where they have already put their footsteps, but that is a trail the wildlife have made. That's how I know it's a good place to put it. Now, these cameras we're placing today are not for security. I have some of those other places that you guys aren't going to see. But for wildlife, this is what we're focusing on. So now you may notice there is a post down there, and that is a good post. There's a gate that closes. It's missing some stuff right now, but that's a good post to put a camera on. I'm actually going to put a camera facing that way on it, and I don't necessarily want to put one facing this way. Let me take you down there and show you why. Well, this post needs to be replaced. It wasn't like that recently. That's fun. It's completely rotten. All right, looks like that was put in as a secondary. We're going to have to fix that eventually. So I'm going to use this post down here. Sorry, you can't see that. That post down there. You can see this one's a little wobbly. I'm going to use this post down here to put a camera facing this way. Now, the wobbly post is not why I wasn't going to place it there. I'm going to show you what the picture would look like going this way. And it's just that I would have to trim stuff. There's no other reason. No other reason. So where I would put a camera here is right here. We have a bunch of grasses here, which I can cut. This will definitely bounce off the camera though. This grass here, that'll bounce off. And when I say bounce off, I mean the infrared flash will flash and it will create a whiteout in those spots. So there's a bunch of sticks here. Yes, I can move them. There's some branches up here. They might be out of, I think those would be okay. And in general, it would be fine to put one there, and I may put one there in the future. But right now, I want to look at what my options are. There is a path coming this way. There is a path right next to it. This path right here. And this path comes from here and this way. And these are animal trails. So something does go this way. I plan on putting the camera up there if it fits around the tree. I don't really want to nail into the trees. If it fits around the tree, I plan on putting it up there because I get a wider view going that way. And because I'm also planning on putting one on the other side of this post. So because of those two things, I prefer not to have 2 cameras on one post because of that. So we'll come back to this post when we put up this camera. I'm going to put it up here first. And here's the view from that tree. Now, this does have a further reach, so we want to make sure any settings for long distance, such as just the sensitivity, and then also the flash, the settings for the flash, that we alter that. Now, I'm not going to show you that because that's going to vary camera to camera, and you really need to test out your camera and see what it means for you. They are all different, and I'm just letting you know those are the settings that may need adjusting, may not. Now, when this grass is taller, and you know, this is the pasture, and when this grass is taller and it gets windy, this is going to be a very bad place to put a camera. Unless you clear out grass or put it higher or further back or something like that. So if you are likely to have grass blowing in the wind and you have your sensitivity as low as possible and still capturing way too much, then you need to change your camera position, or you need to change the condition of the grass. So whether that means come in and graze this area or cut it down or mow it, then that is what you need to do if your goal is to get pictures of not grass blowing in the wind. So that is why I'm choosing this right now. Again, the other location may be a better location for later when the grass is higher, but these are things to think about. You have some seasonality issues, you have some the flash bouncing back issues and stuff like that. So I'm going to put this camera up and we'll go from there. So I like to carry cameras like this if I can. Not all of them have a strap long enough. Not everybody's body is going to fit in there. Previously, some other camera traps that I've had did not fit around me, and so you can't do that. But I do recommend carrying that way. Your hands are free. You have tons of stuff. They don't get scratched up unless you fall down a hill and all that. I am not sure this is going to fit. Ooh. Nope. Okay. I'm going to go get another one of these straps and double up on this. Another way you could do this, you can tie it with anything you want. Here's the attachments. You can tie it. There is an attachment right here you can screw something into the tree, and then there's an angle thing, you screw it in here. There's some of them that have a screw like this kind of thing right in the back of it. There's all sorts of different ways you can attach things. Personally, I don't want to put something into the tree that if I don't have to. I mean, I'm not tapping it for, syrup. It's an oak. I don't even know that people do that to oaks, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to run and go get another one of these straps. I'll probably grab two and put it on this tree. So I've connected up one more of these. I have one more in my pocket just in case this isn't enough. And we'll see from there. Alright, let's see here. This will work. Now, how high do I want this? I want it higher than that. This height is good for things like, coyote, and it's actually good for most things. I do think a lot of bear and elk might be going here, or not bear, deer and elk might be going here, so I am going to put it up just a little bit higher, I think. And then we'll connect these strips, and so you can see this still has some slack in it, and I can move it and stuff. That's fine. I'm going to figure out exactly where I want this before I tighten it up, and I can tighten that with this strap right here. So let's come down a little bit to the level of this camera. This is a good height for a lot of things. It's not a good height for a lot of things. One of the limitations we had over there is that we have, it's not really a limitation, I think it was fine actually, but you might have less time to see something. And here we have a very wide view, and therefore it will pick up the shorter animals farther away. And then I set this for 30 seconds, I think, a video at a time. And so we're going to see if I'm happy with that. If I need to increase the video length or decrease the interval, then I can do that. Now, I suggest you, once you set these up, come back in a day or two and check them, and then also kind of test it out with you. Come out at night, walk by it, see what it captures, where it captures it, know what your interval is between pictures so that you know how long you have to wait to go again, and just test out your location. And then if you're going to set this out for long term, check it out and then confirm or make changes and set it out for longer term. So you don't want to set out something and not test it and then come back and go, oh, well, I got a bunch of deer legs. So this height is pretty good for most things. I am going to move it a little bit to this side, and I'm going to tighten it a little bit, move it a little bit to this side, because this has peripheral vision, so it can go this way, and we're going to see on here how far it can see that way and that way, and so it will pick up those animals. What I'm mostly interested in, and what I have an educated guess where I'm going to see the most animals, is along that pathway, which is in that direction. So that's what I'm doing here. If I wanted to, I could do the same thing on this tree on the other side, but I'm gonna choose to do just one here. So let's go ahead and see what it looks like. All right, so we open it up, go to, what do they call it here? Aim. They call it different things depending on the different cameras. And here's my view. So you guys are in it. It goes all the way over here and all the way over here. So it's seeing, I'm gonna walk and see myself in this now. I don't know if you guys will be able to pick it up or not. I can go all the way this way. It's reverse, interestingly enough. And it can see all the way here. So it's going to pick up anything that's here. And then let's go all the way the other direction. I know you guys can't see this part. It can see all the way over here. All right. So I'm going to move it even further this way because I know I have a targeted area where I want to actually look. Okay, let's try this one. So I want you guys to see how wide this view is. You guys are kind of next to the camera. Let's see, face you guys about the same. All right, so it can see me. All the way over here and past, I just can't see it. And then it can also see me all the way to here. I don't know if that's picking up on the camera or not. I can't see your guys' screen. But that's a pretty wide view and a really good example of what you can do. So we've got one done. It's on now. Most of the cameras, what they'll do is they'll have like it's usually 30 seconds, or usually 60 seconds. I don't remember what this one is, or even if it did hold us. Usually it has a certain amount of time that you, after you turn it on, that it doesn't take anything because it just assumes you're walking away, which is true. So we're going to the next point now, and I am going to put a camera on this post that we talked about earlier right here, and I'll show you why. Number one, I want to catch what's coming. So this is one side. There's that tree. That tree right there is what we put a camera on. And then this way we have this road that goes down. So here's the road that goes down, and then it goes over there and goes into the hayfield. Now I want to put one here because there's a mama kitty. Hi, Mama Kitty. You're actually out here walking with me. Oh, I thought she was alone. There's Ringo. Hi, kitties. You guys haven't met the kitties yet. This is Ringo in his tuxedo, and Mama Kitty in her white. Hi, guys. And they have already grown their winter coats, or they're working on it. and they often join me for videos. Okay, so let's talk about this camera placement. Where I'm going to place the camera is about 2 feet this way of where the camera, where you guys are. As I said, there's a very well-traveled trail that goes this way. That's going to be the main, one of the main captures that I want to do. Another one is there's a trail right behind you guys. Now, it's not being captured by that camera up there, and it's not really being captured by this camera here, but something I noticed is the trail on this side of this road is more well-traveled than the trail on that side. So even though there's a trail on that side, and I'm going to guess deer, I've seen deer use it, but animals go across, you're going to have some animals that choose to go either that way or this way. And Mr. Ringo, what did you eat? Your tummy's full. And, oh, he's not into being held today. Okay. And so I'm going to guess I'm going to pick up some of those extra animals. Now, here's another thing down here. We have a very well-traveled trail going that way. My inkling is that a lot of animals are either using the road trail and turning, or using the very well-traveled trail, turning here and going this way. Now, this trail I am particularly interested in because it goes to an area of the pasture that I haven't been spending a whole lot of time in. So I don't know a whole lot about it except for it's full of strawberries and yarrow. So I really want to know what's using that pathway. Another reason, I believe that is, if you saw my bear video, I'll put a link here to that video. If you saw my bear video, I believe that's the path it took. So this trail, it kind of breaks apart on the other side. One of the paths does go up the other side of this little creek here and is exactly where the bear climbed over my camera. And this trail can lead to where it went across the street and up the hill. So I suspect we have some multi-species traffic on there. And I want to show you the difference between like this trail here, which I believe is just a deer trail, other things are going to use it, and this trail here. So if you guys watched my trail video, I'll put a link up here. Kind of silly, there's a dog involved, she gets in the way. But that will give you a little bit of understanding about looking at trails and what you may capture on these cameras. So here's the trail. Here's the trail that's going to be behind the camera. It goes this way and then that way. And something you notice is it's very tall. There's no grasses or twigs that go over. I mean, right there, animals can step over. It's very tall. Okay. So something you may notice about this trail, this is the trail further down, is it's not very tall. Let me go over there. Okay, so here's how tall I am. You know, a deer is going to be tall as I am. Elk's going to be taller. As far as where their eyes and where the head is and stuff. Everything else in the world is going to be shorter, at least in this world that exists right here, right? Our world view. A fox is going to be this big, just like the cats, right? A bobcat's probably going to be about that big. A coyote's probably going to be somewhere in here. A bear is going to be like this. And mountain lion is going to be somewhere about the same, right? So if we take this trail, it has some stuff to go under here, unless you want to squeeze. And it has this rose bush here. I don't know if you can even see me, but there's a rose bush here that you have to duck under or scrape by. And honestly, people don't have hides, animals do. They probably won't even notice scraping by. And then there is this branch, which I would hit my head on. Deer can duck under and all that, but there are some differences about this trail that lead me to believe it's not just a deer trail. And I don't have tracks because I don't have dirt. It's all vegetated. And so that is why I want to know what's going on this trail. Now, here are my options. I can put up a stake. I can put up something on that tree over there. I can put a stake, you know, where you guys are. I can put something over there. But I am going to be wise in the use of my cameras. I have a lot of them, but I don't have, you know, tons. And place something that is multifunctional. So because I know this is a high use trail, I'm going to get anything that goes on this trail from that point. I'm also going to get anything that goes down this way, back and forth to the hayfield from this point. It's not going to go as far as the hayfield, I doubt. But the animals that, I mean, the flash won't go as far as the hayfield, but the animals that go back and forth will go on this trail. So I am placing my camera in a very thoughtful way, with multiple goals in mind. So I hope that makes sense. I know this is pretty in-depth, but that is my goal. Another thing to think about with this placement is we do have some grass. And honestly, for right now, I'm going to come back and trim it. Okay, let's go for camera number 2. Something else that I've done with these that I told you about in the previous video. Uh-oh, which one is it? Is this one? Too many. Is to mark your cameras. And let's see what number I pulled. Good way to randomize them. So this is camera number 9. And that's the camera number. Now, that way I can track no matter which SD card I put in, I know this is camera number 9. If camera number 9 is giving me trouble, giving me problems, I will know that because I will know which card was where and all of that. So that's good tip. Now, let me just look here. This isn't like gonna fall down immediately because it's being supported by the other one, so I might actually use it. But I do want things facing that way, so maybe I won't use it. Maybe I'll use the other one. Now, I am expecting to get elk on this trail. I know they've gone potty here. I know they exist here. So I am going to place it higher than I would otherwise. If it was just deer, I'm not really going after just deer pictures because they're deer and, you know, they're great, but they're deer. But what I do want to do is get some pretty awesome pictures of elk, and I know I will. I thought I heard them last night. I'm not sure if I actually did or not, but there's a bull herd that come by in the winter and do their, you know, their button together of their antlers. So this is lower than I want, but I think it will be fine. Let's see if I can get as high as I can there. Let me change this. So camera positioning can sometimes be the most time consuming of putting up a camera because you want to know how to get exactly, you know, what you want, right? I do have a video that's going to come out. I don't know if it's going to be later this week or next week, but when I was at my parents' house, I recorded how to make a mobile camera. So it's very easy to pick up and move and set down and you're done. You don't have to go through all of this stuff as long as you're going after the same size critter, you know, and some things to figure out with that. So, not things to figure out, some tips on how to do that. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Let's see how this does. Now, another reason to tuck in the straps once you've positioned something is some animals like to play with them, particularly dogs, weasels, dogs meaning coyotes, foxes, the canids, and dogs. So I have a bunch of leftover strap. I'm not going to cut it. Do not cut your straps, because you are going to move this somewhere eventually. And then you'll be like, well, why the heck did I cut my strap? I've heard of people doing this, and it's ridiculous. Just wrap it around again, tuck it in, something like that. For me, I'm just going to kind of weave it down this fence and tie it off, and it'll be fine. You don't want your camera to be messed with by critters, and at least they can't see the flash, so that's good. All right, so this is set up, and I think it's set up in the right direction that I want, but I'm always going to test. So I forgot about this trail. There is a trail that goes right here down the fence, but it's not a big one. I think it's probably just deer, but you know, it's pretty close to the camera. It'll pick it up. All right, let's see what it picks up. There is a piece of grass right in front of it. We are going to break that off. We're going to break a lot of these off, actually. Since they can be broken off, let's just do it. I should have brought my scythe out here. I did not. Weed whacker, a scythe is a very good idea, because we don't want the flash, which is infrared flash, to bounce off vegetation. Ouch. So anything you can do to reduce that possibility is a good idea. And sometimes you can miss one piece of grass that just lights up the whole picture. All right, this should be good enough. Here's one that is right in front of the trail that I'm aiming at looking at, so that goes. All right. So again, I'm walking away from the camera. I can see on the camera, which is not how it used to be. It used to be used to do this, take out the card, put it into a computer, or I had my camera and look at it. Some of them, you can also have a card reader that can plug into some of them. I prefer not to do that for some reasons. But anyway, I prefer not to do that. All right, so I can see myself, I'm in the middle, and here is the trail right here. Now this is a case, let's see, where am I? Okay, so I think it's in the right place. The issue with this is it's pretty far away from the camera. So we want to make sure on this one that we set the camera up appropriately. So if you guys remember, we did the settings video, and we are going to revisit that right now. So flash mode, I'm gonna do long range. I'm gonna do long range on this one, because long range is going to get the longer range. So that's what I'm gonna do it. I think I have long range on that one too. All right, so this is where I want it. It's going to do a good job for me, and just a little bit. And we're going to turn it on and close it up. So that is how we set up that, and there's some good reasoning for that, remember? Somehow I cut myself. I think I'm up to date on tetanus. Okay, so another thing you're going to notice about this one, okay, there's where the camera is, right there. It's up a hill. So when it's up a hill, you want to make sure on that visual that you get as far down as you want to get. So it is tilted slightly, so that's one way to do that. There's two ways to get a camera to go lower. One is physically put it lower. Another is to actually tilt it. So if we want to see something that way, and it needs to be something that is a low thing, but you can only have it at this level, and you want to put it at this level, but you can't, you have to put it on this level, you can tilt it. And I don't think I've seen any of them that you have a strap that has, like on the bottom, most of the straps are on the top. So if you're going to tilt it, you may have to add some string or something to hold it that way. One caution to that is for some cameras, and I'm not sure which ones or even if this is still true, but I know at one point some cameras did not work if they were horizontal. Now, speaking of horizontal, there are some very cool things you can do with a horizontal camera if it works as a horizontal camera. We will be talking about that special tip in a separate video. When you're setting things up in an area that isn't shaded, doesn't have trees, we may get some funky stuff on these cameras too, but in general, if you don't have any cover or any specific reason to have it in a particular place, you want to face that camera north or south. And the reason for that, north is preferable. The kitties are playing in the tree. Okay. North is preferable, but north or south. And the reason for that is as the day goes by, the sun rises in the east, it sets in the west. We know this. This is simple. What happens between east and west is you have shadows moving. And those shadows can actually set off the camera. So not that it's moving so quickly, it's just that that it's different. It has a different temperature, it has a different, all this. So like if you're next to a tree, it can do that. Sometimes cloud shadow can set off cameras. So again, it depends on what kind of camera, what the sensitivity is at, and how sunny the day is and stuff like that. But in general, point your cameras north or south if you're not trying to get a particular thing, and you will have less junk photos to go through. So that's a really good tip that I learned somewhat early on from someone, and I was like, okay, that makes sense, because I was getting these pictures and I was like, what's in it? I don't see anything. There's no animals in here. Why does it keep doing this? And that was the answer. So yeah. But again, if you want something if you want to capture a smaller field of view, or if you want to capture a smaller animal on the camera, capture means take a picture, then I suggest you tilt. Now you can pound in a stake in the ground and tilt that. You can set it up like this and put a piece of board or a piece of stick behind the top part, and tilt it like that. So let's go over and look at this. Let's say you want to tilt this down. Let's say we don't want to actually look at that whole field of view. What would we do? We would loosen this up, put something behind this, so this part would come out, and then you'd tie this part back. That makes sense? Okay. If you wanted to tilt it up, you're like, oh man, this post isn't straight. I wanted it to be straight. This post is already crooked. I don't like that. I want the picture to come up. Then what you do is you go like this, put a stick behind it, and it will stay. So, and I did that with the bear video. I did that over by the roadkill. So definitely you can do that. All right, let's talk as I go to the next place. Now I have these two over here. It pretty much covers the kind of who goes this way, and hi cutters. And we want to think about other places we can put this. Now, again, that is a good trail. I already knew it was a good trail, and we know this. I am going to put some out on the edges of the hayfield later, and because I want to catch those elk. So that is the reason for that. I have a very particular reason why I'm doing it, and all that. Now, so I do have a water source here, so putting cameras at water sources is going to get you some really good pictures. All right, that's the end of part one, and get ready for part two. Part two, we're going to look at putting it near water source, and then also along edges of a field or edges of the property, and a little bit different scenario. And then we'll get to that part two. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful time. I hope you're appreciating these, and hit that like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. share it with people that want to learn how to use their wildlife cameras, and we will see you in part 2. Thank you for watching.